For our first morning in Tokyo, we got picked up by our cab in Shinjuku to make it into the brand new Toyosu Market, where we eventually found everyone lining up for the doors to open.
What time is it? It's 4:50? What's up, guys? This is Will from Going Awesome Places, and it's about 5 a.m. in the morning here in Tokyo. I'm standing in front of the waiting area of the Toyosu Market and the Fish Wholesale Market building. And really, I want to show you guys, since I'm here in Tokyo, whether the experience is worth it or not for the tuna auction, or is it better to just sleep in?
And like clockwork, when 5 a.m. struck, the doors opened.
It's all the sushi restaurants inside. Looks like a lot of the shops are still closed right now. But the building has just opened. This is the administrative building, and all the visitors come through here. So we're headed inside, I guess, to the waiting area. It's actually not as many of us as I thought, but it's also quite early. It's 5 o'clock. I think the expected, or the starting time is supposed to be at 5:30, so there's still about half an hour to go, but there's probably only like 10 of us right now.
Honestly, we got in and didn't know what we were doing, so we just followed everyone all the way into the market itself. The big difference with the tuna auction experience is that you actually have to apply for an online lottery application at least a month ahead of time. And we were lucky enough to get spots here, and that's why we're here. So from now until 6:15 a.m., they're going to be letting groups of 40 in 10 minutes at a time to be able to go down to the second floor observation deck, where you can take in the sights, the sounds, and the smells of the tuna auction. But don't worry, if you didn't get a ticket, you can actually go here around the corner with the tuna observation windows, where although it's fully painted up with glass, you'll be able to see the auction down below.
So it's just 5 o'clock right now, before 5:30 where we're supposed to be for the auction, but there's already action happening down here on the floor. And you know these are tuna because on the floor you have the green tiles, and anything green you know is for tuna actually, so that's a fun fact.
Like officially the auction hasn't started, right?
So that's the observation deck.
Keep walking all the way down, and there's actually an English-speaking guide to answer any of your questions.
They are preserved them in big freezer. It's minus 60 degrees Celsius. It will keep fresh for 2 years. Moderately fatty, not too oily, and not lean.
Okay.
Moderately fatty, moderately texture.
Okay.
And not dry and not watery.
Yes.
And then color is bright red or luminous red color,
Okay.
or scarlet.
Okay.
It's good. My favorite. Assessing tuna is most difficult. It's like gamble each time because we have to evaluate one big whole tuna, but it's just small cut the tail. You can see on the body, I assess just small cut the tail by small cut the tail, and the color is more important than fat content. For example, upper part of the belly, the most expensive part. Yes, fatty part. It goes to upscale restaurants. I will say it per kilogram cost about 18,000 yen. 1 kilogram is about $200 per kilo. But lower part on the spinal side, the cheapest, it goes to supermarkets or individual shoppers as well. It costs per kilogram 5,000 yen. It's much different of price.
And on the other side, just lots and lots of foam. I guess this is where they package all the fish. Lots of foam. Oh, is this the line?
We knew that we had to get to the PR center at 5:30 for the auction, but then once we were at the observation windows, we don't know where to go, and then we rushed back to eventually find the line here.
William.
Yes.
ID. Okay.
So we need our vests. So similar to Tsukiji. Yeah. Looks like you're playing intramural sports.
so we didn't know, and then
Oh,
we
I
thought
see.
we would start over there.
Yeah.
So then we rushed to find where
Okay, you're very lucky.
This time, with our group, we cross back over the bridge to the other building to then get to the observation windows before making our way down one level below to the observation deck, where the tuna auction was about to begin. Certainly with much better views than the observation windows above, mainly because you're that much closer to the action. The glass doesn't go all the way up, so you can hear all the noise and all the bell ringing. But the challenge is, of course, is that if you want clear shots and you want to remove the reflections from the glass, you have to use your arms to raise your camera up. And just like that, our 20 minutes were up and it was time to head out. And if it wasn't clear earlier, this is exactly where you need to go to head towards the tuna auction. Wondering how to get to Toyosu Market? If you're not going really early, well, you can take the Yurikamomi waterfront line, the one that takes you to Odaiba, and get off at the Shijomei station. Now this hasn't changed a whole lot from Tsukiji, but the best way to pair a tuna auction is to have fresh sushi for breakfast, and this is Daiwa Sushi right outside the fruit and vegetable building. The fruit and vegetable building is the second of 3 buildings at Toyosu and is dedicated to the wholesale of, well, fruit and vegetable. I gotta say that this building was probably the least interesting. There weren't any people really around, but there are observation windows at the top. Now you're probably wondering, where did all those amazing restaurants at Tsukiji go? Well, they've actually built a special area called the Toyosu Gourmet as part of the Fish Intermediate Wholesale Market building that carries a lot of your favorite restaurants, and they've all moved over to Toyosu, including my favorites such as Nakaya and Sushi Dai. Once you step out of Toyosu Gourmet and walk further down the second level sky bridge, you make your way down to the main area of the intermediate market building where you'll pick up your badge and you'll have narrow views of the wholesale market down below. You can't get down there, but you can take the escalator up to Yogashi Yokocho Market. And this is a market related goods shop area, they call it. And they sell things like snacks, kitchenware, souvenirs, knives, and a whole lot more. Just be aware that this is a live market area, so watch out for those electric turret trucks. We're now standing on the rooftop garden of the intermediate wholesale building at Toyosu Market. Now I gotta say, our experience here has been really awesome and really eye-opening, being very new and fresh. Now what we loved about it was the fact that, we had a guaranteed spot into the auction. We didn't have to come ridiculously early to get into line. In fact, there weren't that many people at the tuna auction in terms of the second level observation deck. So that was a really nice treat. On top of that, everything was laid out really cleanly. You had the 3 different buildings. It's huge, but there were instructions in English and we knew exactly where to go. And finally, Daiwa Sushi didn't have any lines either, so we pretty much just walked right in and had some incredible sushi. On the flip side of things, I think certain things that we didn't like as much were the fact that we just felt a little bit less chaotic than what you got at Tsukiji. And I mean that in a bad way, because at Tsukiji it felt like you were immersed in the chaos. You could see what was happening. People were selling things and buying things, and people were yelling at each other. Their cars going past each other all the time, and you're ducking between them. You didn't really get that sense here at Toyosu, just because they've really done a good job of separating where the business was happening and where the tourists could observe the action. So everything was really behind a pane of glass, and in a lot of cases you couldn't really hear what was happening down below. So that was something that was really different between what used to be at Tsukiji and what is now at the Toyosu Market. But anyways, make sure you head to my blog, where there's going to be a lot more information about our experiences at Toyosu Market, including detailed guide on how to apply for the lottery tuna auction observation deck. But anyways, this is Will from Going Awesome Places. I hope you guys learned a lot. Make sure you subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys next time on Going Awesome Places.